So Novonix is back. So they're not back, they haven't really left, but they did receive $150 million USD from the government, Department of Energy. Why? Because they're in the US. The government wants them to succeed, wants jobs in the United States. So the Department of Energy is giving away $7 billion, and Novonix is a good choice. Why? Because they've got all the know-how in batteries. They're making anode material for the batteries that is very good. They know how to test the batteries, so they know how to make the best anode stuff. So, rough business figures on Novonix, you can buy them for about $1 billion. And if you do some rough sums, these are rough, you make 150,000 tons. That's what their aim is in 2030. You make $5,000 profit per ton. That's $750 million. So even if it's half that, say $300 million, that's pretty good for a company you can buy today for $1 billion, who's getting everything funded. So obviously there's going to be some more capex, going from what they're going to now is 30,000 tons all the way up to 150,000 tons per annum in 2030. But yeah, they do know they're getting government grants, and they're probably going to print money because every Tesla needs this stuff to make it go. Every electric vehicle went towards electric vehicles. It's a smarter choice. So when I first bought Novonix, it was down here. You could buy 500 million, and it looks like they're going to make $500 million a year. And if they made half that, it was still going to be great. So bought them here, and they got ridiculous, so I sold out here. And they came back sort of in buying territory here. If they went to $1 for any strange reason, maybe there's going to be a crash, I'd definitely be jumping on this stock. And that's just the anode side. These figures here, rough figures, was for the anode side. And one thing to mention, $5,000 profit per ton. That means the graphite for your Tesla is only $1,200 because you got $20 a ton at 20. This was for $20,000 a ton, sorry. So that's more than what they're profiting now. Sorry, this is bad. So if it was $20,000 a ton of graphite and you got about 60 kilos in a Tesla, that's the cost for your Tesla, not much. So easy to say this price could double. Like if you had to pay $3,000 for the graphite in your Tesla, I'm sure you're just gonna have to pay it. Like it's not that much more. You're gonna have to pay it. Same thing happened to lithium. Lithium used to be around $1,000. Now it's like $5,000 for your Tesla, and people have to pay it. So Novonix, I don't know how much they're gonna make, but if they're gonna make $500 million a year, pretty good for a company you can get for that. That's on the anode side, and they have the cathode side as well. And they make battery testing equipment for all the big players. They know how to test a battery. Jeff Dunn, we'll go into this in a second. Where is it? Here? No, I'm not sure where this thing was that I was looking at before. Oh, we'll just have to find it. Give me a moment. Quarterly activities. Here we go. So this guy, watch some videos of him. He's tested batteries. He tests them at high temperatures, because that shows what degrades fast. So you test at high temperature, it accelerates the bad reactions. So in 2 weeks, they tested at high temperatures, and they can see what works well, and they know that their anode material works very well. So you see here, a 60% with their anode material, a 60% decrease in the thing, which means they have longer cycle life. Instead of the battery lasting 1,000 cycles, their battery might last 5,000 cycles. So you pay more for it, but per cycle it costs less, if that makes sense, because it's a better battery, will last longer. You pay more, but it actually costs less. If you can't figure that out, that's your own problem. So they got a small grant here. They now got a $150 million grant, as I just showed. Cash, they already had $200 million in cash, so they got a lot of cash, and they're going to get a whole lot more. And they just could go like CATL. So this company could easily go back to $5 billion. The reason I sold here is because that was a good price if they were going to make 150,000 tons per annum. But at the time, they were only making, and they're still only making less than 10,000 tons per annum. So the market was giving a very rich valuation very early, and it sort of was ridiculous. But now it makes a bit more sense. I'm not sure what happened here. All the type, very high, pretty ridiculous. I freaked out when it went down this day, and I sold out everything, and it was a good choice now. But now it could be a time to buy back in. Who knows, the next 2 years, if something happens and this gets to $1, it's going to be a very good company. So they're going to go the anode material, and they're doing pilot plants for the cathode material as well. So we'll go through the thing. So basically, their material is just really good. It doesn't degrade with the batteries, so you get more cycle life. People think LFP has high cycle life, but Jeff Dahn has done studies, and he can make very good cycle life out of nickel, but his goal was to make good cycle life out of LFP as well. And so guess what? Jeff Dahn is studying in the lab right now to see what works the best, and if it makes dollars, it makes sense, and this guy's finding out in the lab every day with his super high-tech testing equipment. So if it works, this guy knows, and he's the chief scientific advisor. So he's going to let these guys know, and they're going to make more and more money. Although now they're quite small, but not for $1 billion, not a bad price tag, considering all these oil companies, these $2 trillion oil companies, graphite, anything goes in a lithium-ion battery, particularly good graphite anode, is going to be making you a massive oil player in a sense. So this is one of their players, 57 billion of assets. I think Philips is supplying them with stuff for their the needle coke, producer of petroleum needle coke, precursor material for synthetic graphite. So it comes from a byproduct of petrol. That's one thing you might know, is we get further away from petrol, this ingredient might become more expensive. That's something to look out for. But I'm sure they know that, or maybe they're just leading you into the blind. That's for you to make your own mind up. You think they could still get this stuff. It seems planes are probably going to be in petrol for quite a while, so who knows. That's a whole different kettle of fish. But if they see that coming, guess what? Jeff Dahn, plenty of big graphite resources around the world. Guess what? Jeff Dahn can say, well, it's not going to work with this stuff. We'll use your big graphite mine, we'll buy it off you for $30 million, and we'll have a 50-year mine life. And yes, so guess what? He knows what to do. He knows if you can make it out of natural, etc. Code it. They're doing that in the lab, I suspect. So we'll go back up here. Announcement deal highlights. Dun, 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 dun. So they got the know-how, they'll get the money, and then they'll get the money out of us when we buy the Teslas, etc. Yeah, so they have $200 million in cash, and they just got another $150 million grant to do the facility for 30,000 tons per annum. So we'll read through this a bit more better. Pardon my French. Construction of 30,000 tons per annum. So I believe they already have a 10,000 plant. Reaching annual production capacity of 10,000 tons. So 10,000 times 5,000, what is that? Times 5,000. Let's just say they make that much profit. $50 million. So already you might be getting like 5% earnings on that thing. But obviously they have to pay back that thing, which might have a payback period. And I do think anode material is going to go short supply. So instead of making $5,000, they might be making $10,000. I don't actually know. And if they're making a lot of money, they're probably going to keep it on the down low. Although maybe they're going to bring it out in their reports, obviously. So maybe that's for you to do more research and see how much money they're making now. Guess what? Clean power sources. So they're making all this from hydroelectricity. Probably the cleanest electricity there is. Cheapest as well, if it's already there, obviously. Dun, dun, dun. So basically, to dumb it down, they're doing around 10,000 now. They'll slowly increment all the way up to 2030, where they'll do 150,000, which is only about 10% of the market. So maybe they'll just do. Who else is going to do it? They may just do 300,000 tons and be the big dog, and that's of NO material. They can do cathode as well. I'm sure they're working on it. something with LFP. They'll figure it out. It only takes one announcement to say, oh, they're actually doing LFP as well. Well, yeah, it does. It takes one announcement. Who knows what they're working on in the background. So that's Novonix. It did go up quite a bit more today, and then came, I think it was up 20%, went back down to 7. So decent buying here. You might, if these rising interest rates scare off more people, less money in the economy, you could get a better buying opportunity, but who knows, you could miss out. But in 2030, it's fair to say they'll be making $500 million a year, maybe $250 million a year on the low side. So, decent buying opportunity, in my opinion. Well, a lot better than it was up here. So if you believed in here, yeah, unfortunate for anyone who bought here. I honestly didn't know. I was selling out along the way, and I said I'll buy back in either around $5. Then I didn't buy back in, and another came down to around here. Definitely, if they get to $1, I'll be buying in. But I'm prepared to sit down and wait because rising interest rates. Not sure what will happen in the market over the next 2 years. Who knows? It's all a game, and you have to decide for yourself. So thanks for watching another video. Stay tuned for natural graphite players. So this company is $1 billion. I'm looking for companies like sub 50 million. They can grow to maybe 500 to $1 billion, because it's not about how good the company is. It's about the X's on your return. So if you buy a company for 2 million, it goes to 10 million. That's a 5x on your money. And likewise, so this company has, for this to 5x, has to go to 5 billion, which might be a bit harder than a small company doing that. But there's a lot of variables. You need to find a company that's gaining production that's actually going to make money, and it's a risk to reward thing. So stay tuned for, I like small battery related stocks, companies that are going to provide value for the future as we move away from petrol towards battery materials. And I believe now's a great chance, as we'll be slowly heading towards electric vehicles in the coming years, because they're way better than combustion vehicles, aren't they? Or are they? What do you think? Are they, or are they not? Okay, thanks for watching another boring video, and I'll see you in the next one. Tell me if you see any companies you like, something small that can grow big, something big, something that's like 50 million and says they can spend 50 million and they're gonna make $50 million a year, meaning that company you bought for 50 million is making $50 million a year and now should be worth $1 billion, which is a 20x on your money. That's what everyone wants, isn't it? So if it seems logical will happen, it might just happen. Like Novonix did go this high and did come back down, so why can't some other stock? So I've said probably I'm going now, but I'm definitely going now. See you later.